Hello friends, welcome back once again to classes. Presently we are dealing with modern Indian history, and in the previous class we dealt with the various land reforms that the British East India Company have brought in, or rather had brought in during the British period or in British India before the 1857 revolt or Sepoy mutiny. So regarding the land reforms, some of the things have to be clarified as you have seen, there were various land reforms. To start with, we had a permanent or a zamindari system, with a permanent settlement act or a zamindari system. Then we had the rayatwari system, and then we had the mahalwari system. Each of these had a specific area across India. We saw the permanent settlement act or zamindari system was prevalent in the areas of modern day Bihar, Bengal, and parts of UP up till Banaras. It consists of around 19% of then British India, and it consisted of one of the most fertile lands of the world. Here, the British East India Company had direct engagement with the zamindars. The zamindars were made the owner of the land. They were given the permanent patta. The zamindars were the owners. Zamindars were the owners. Then came the rider system. In the rider system, we saw that the permanent patta was given to the farmers, the peasants. The peasants and the farmers, or the one who were cultivating the land, were made the permanent owner of the land, and British used to British used to collect the tax from the farmers. Here the British used to collect tax from the zamindars in the Permanent Settlement Act. In the Rayatwari Act, the British used to collect the money from the farmers. In the Mahalwari system, there used to be a group of village. There used to be a group of village, and one person belonging from this village was made responsible for collecting the taxes from this village and then giving it to the British East India Company. Here, what they did in Mahalwari system was that the Britishers used the best of both systems, the best of permanent settlement act and the best of rayatwari system was imposed in the Mahalwari system. So here they took the middle part, as we call it in the Buddhist line of religion, the middle part. So they went for the middle part. Now, moving on. What were the features? The features. What are the features of the British revenue system? The first features that comes to our mind was they were too exploitative. They're too exploitative. The British land revenue policies proved to be too exploitative for the peasants. In case of the permanent settlement, the zamindars supplanted their land to their middlemen to collect revenue on their behalf. In due course of time, a number of middlemen came in between the primary zamindar and the peasants. Like initially, it was such that British East India Company gave the zamindari to Mr. X. To Mr. X, you are a zamindar and you have to collect. So what happens? Mr. X collects the revenue for say 5 years. Now the tax that was imposed was very high, was excessively high. It's too exploitative, and as a result of what the thing had happened, The British East India Company got their due share, and also Mr. X used to make sufficient amount of money. मतलब इतना पैसा हो जाता था इनके पास कि मिस्टर एक्स, ज़्यादातर मिस्टर एक्स क्या करता था, सिटी की तरफ निकल पड़ता था कि गांव में अब नहीं रहना, बहुत हो गया, गांव का ज़िंदगी बहुत जी लिया, अब रहेंगे शहर में। तो शहर के वो निकलते ही अब someone had to collect a tax from these villages. तो मिस्टर एक्स क्या करता था, परमानेंट सेटलमेंट एक्ट में there was a thing that you could transfer your land, you could sublet your land, you could sell your land to anyone. So what they used to do was sublet the land to Mr. Y. Now this Mr. Y was not responsible. This Mr. Y. Mr. X goes to city, sublets the land to Mr. Y. Of Mr. Y, suppose British were to be, suppose 100 rupees was the tax realized. British was supposed to be given 40 rupees and 60 rupees remained. Out of the 60 rupees, earlier what happened was that this 60 rupees directly went to Mr. X. Now what happens, Mr. Y has come in. अब 60 तो चाहिए, तो क्या होता है, out of the 60, to get the 60, what happens was that this raised to 120. क्योंकि ब्रिटिश को मतलब था 40 से, they needed is 40, तुम यहाँ से 200 निकालो, 300 निकालो, माइनस 100 लो, ब्रिटिश को इससे कोई मतलब नहीं था, they were related only to 40. 60 had to be given to Mr. X, right? So 60 plus 40. अब सबलेट लिया है तो भाड़ा देना होगा मिस्टर एक्स को, तो मिस्टर वाई हैड टू गिव अनादर 20 रुपीज भाड़ा से किराया देना होगा, तो अनादर 20 कम सब हियर 120 ऑलरेडी हो गए। अब मिस्टर वाई का भी तो कुछ इनकम होना होगा, तो मिस्टर वाई से यूज्ड टू टेक 20 रुपीज, मान लेते बहुत अच्छा बंदा था, 20 रुपये लेता था। Now this entire amount goes to 140, which earlier used to be 100. Now who is paying this 140? This 140 is being paid by the peasants. This 140 will have to be paid by the farmers. मतलब farmers के ऊपर फिर से दबाव बढ़ा। The same thing that is happening even today in the country. Taxes are being paid by the farmers. The lower middle class, the farmers feel the highest incidence of the tax. सबसे ज़्यादा बोझ उन्हीं पे आता है. The rich don't feel the tax. So this is what is happening. Now, the second point. First we had it is too exploitative. Second point was that the areas in revenue demand was quite high. Say in the riotary area. In riotary especially is quite high. यहाँ सबलेट का चक्कर नहीं है, लेकिन यहाँ पहले से ही क्वाइट है। What happened in permanent settlement act was that 100 रुपए का जो चीज था वो लास्ट में 140 रुपए पे करना होता था फार्मर्स को, यहाँ पहले से 140 करके रखा हुआ है, तो दे आर पेइंग इज वेरी वेरी हाई। और ये स्टैंडर्ड एक मापदंड और एक स्टैंडर्ड सिस्टम में कैलिब्रेट किया हुआ होता था कि someone was growing rice, or for a matter someone was growing wheat, so it is fixed कि rice कुछ x by y fraction you have to pay, wheat some w by x fraction you will have to pay as tax. It is fixed कि rice आपको पे करना होगा कि 1000 रुपए पर टन आपको पे करना होगा, I'm just saying it, and wheat say 1400 per ton. So this is fixed. आपका खेती जैसा भी हो कोई मतलब नहीं है, आपको पे करना होगा, and this was obnoxiously very high even then. अब देखिए फसल सही हो गया, like today if we have a La Nina year, and we'll go through this in geography, we have La Nina and we have El Nino. These two are connected to the warming and cooling of the Central Pacific Ocean. That is a very correlation. That अगर El Nino होता है तो it has been seen that every 5 to 7 years we have El Nino occurrence, which is now because the climatic conditions changes. This has now changed to say 2 to 3 years, every 2 to 3 years. Earlier it used to happen every 5 to 7 years. Now after every 2 to 3 years it's happening. That is, the frequency of El Nino has increased. Now El Nino का क्या होता था? If there is El Nino, there is drought in India. There is drought in India, and if there is drought in India, we had seen it in the earlier classes. See, this used to be a region for, this is the region, this region is for, it comes under right here area. अब drought होता है जब मानसून आता है तो ऐसे हिट करता है मानसून. This how monsoon hits. Try the better way. So this is the Indian map geographically. When monsoon comes, it hits, and here we have the Aravalis, the Vindhyas, the Satpuras, and then the Western Ghats, and here we have the Eastern Ghats. This is the Himalaya. So it comes and it goes through this, and here one channel goes through this. If it is very strong, if the monsoon is very strong, only then this arm does some significant rainfall. And here it comes, it ascends above the Western Ghats, and then it comes down, and here it causes orographic rain. So what is orographic rain? Orographic rain is basically rain that is caused due to the air rises up. When the air rises up a mountain, it cools down, and here it forms clouds and it causes rainfall. और ये जो होता है ये रेन वाला साइड होता है, रेन साइड होता है, और ये लीवर्ड साइड होता है, लीवर्ड साइड. इस साइड में रेनफॉल कम होता है. तो ये साइड वैसे भी ड्रॉट प्रोन रहता है. अब सेम सिचुएशन था यहाँ. दिस वाज द एरिया. नाउ लेट अस लुक इनटू द broader perspective. This was the area roughly which is under right area, as you can see. Up, just look at the situation. How geography changes also causes the history. Let's see. जैसे कि एल नीनो जैसे होता था इन अ नॉर्मल मानसून ईयर, जब अच्छा नॉर्मल मानसून होता है तब ये आर्म तब भी बहुत वीक होता है. दिस आर्म इज ऑलवेज वीक. If it's very strong rain monsoon, only then this arm causes some significant rainfall in the areas of Gujarat and Rajasthan, like southern Punjab. Now what happens is that because El Nino, because when there is a normal rainfall, normal monsoon, even then this area is receives less rainfall. We'll see that on this side the rainfall is something of the around 300 cm to 400 cm, whereas on this side we'll face rainfall something 50 to 100 cm only, or even lesser than that. This is because of the orographic effect. Now already when you have good monsoon ये हालत है. और जब एल नीनो हो जाता था, ये एल नीनो आज के बाद नहीं, ये हज़ारों सालों से हो रहा है. जब भी एल नीनो, अब पहले फ्रिक्वेंसी कम होता था, अभी फ्रिक्वेंसी बढ़ गया है, अभी हद से बढ़ गया है. तो क्या होता है, ये एरिया पूरा ड्रॉट हो जाता था. यहाँ पे ड्रॉट, यहाँ ड्रॉट. तो ये जो पूरा रायोटेरी एरिया था यहाँ पे हो जाता भीषण हाहाकार लोगों का, क्योंकि पे करना था 140 रुपये और है नहीं पैसा, क्योंकि ड्रॉट ने मार लिया है सबका यहाँ पे. बट द ब्रिटिशर्स नीडेड द मनी. somehow or the other way you will have to pay the money. जुल्म करते थे. Now moving on. This was the second aspect. First is it was too expensive. Second, it was very high, and first was it's too exploitative, and second was it is very high in the rioted areas. Now, third was something that changed the Indian economy. It went on for commercialization of crops. Now you must be thinking ये क्या नया line आ गया? Commercialization of crops. Commercialization of crops is that like what we usually follow in the Indian context is the subsistence type of farming. खेती होता है ज़्यादातर, like see we have now in the present day we have like large farmers, large farms, we have marginal farmer and we have small farmers. This is a range which जिसका 2 हेक्टेयर से ज़मीन कम था, 2 हेक्टेयर, और these were large farmers, they had thousands of hectares. This is after the 1950s. 1950 में जब भारत सरकार नया हुआ और भारत सरकार ने जब लैंड सीलिंग एक्ट लगाया कि you can have only X hectare of land for agricultural purposes. बाकी लैंड आपको जो गरीब है, जो लैंडलेस लेबरर्स है, उनको दे देना होगा. And after that we have this scenario. इससे पहले जो था, तो मानिए अभी सिचुएशन तो बहुत ही अच्छा है in comparison to the British period, लेकिन imagine अभी का सिचुएशन भी इतना अच्छा नहीं है actually. Situation that we are living today, the farmers are having today, every day in and day out, we see that the farmers are committing suicide in Saurashtra, Marathwada areas, regions. Those are these areas. These are drought-prone areas. Saurashtra, here we have Saurashtra. This is the Marathwada area. These regions are severely drought-prone area, and here we can see day in and day out that every day the farmers are committing suicide. They need loan waivers and all these things. Now the thing that is happening, that situation even after 70 years of independence, we are having this situation. Imagine the situation that those farmers had during the British era. Now what they used to do, that we basically used to have subsistence kind of farming. कि खाना पीना मतलब कुछ कर लेंगे, लेबर हो जाएंगे, किसी के यहाँ लेबर का काम कर देंगे, वहाँ से 100 रुपये मिल जाएगा, और अपना थोड़ा सा क्रॉप्स रहेंगे घर पे बनाएंगे, कि राइस हो या व्हीट हो, राइस, व्हीट, बाले घर पे करेंगे, और ये घर के लिए बनाएंगे. थोड़ा अगर बच गया तो लोकल मार्केट जो है उसमें जाके बेच देंगे. This was kind of a subsistence farming. But now, when the Britishers came in, now see, India was the raw material supplier for UK, Britain. Britain में हो गया था industrial revolution, and what they needed cotton, they needed jute, they needed sugar, they needed cotton because in 1776 USA got independence. So USA got independence, and then USA started a policy of isolation. USA ने पूरा कट ऑफ कर दिया था 100 साल के लिए कि किसी के साथ कोई 1814 to 1914 फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर तक यूएसए पूरा कट ऑफ था, आइसोलेशन में था, वर्ल्ड के साथ कोई कनेक्शन नहीं था इनका. तो बेसिकली व्हाट दे नीडेड नाउ, ब्रिटेन का इतना ब्रिटेन हैड सो मच ऑफ industries have already begun and it's running. They need raw material, and raw material पहले cotton supply आता था USA and then from India. Now USA, they have lost USA as a colony. The only option they have is India, and then they came to Indian farmers and then say grow cotton, because this cotton will be sent to UK industries. वहाँ से cotton का कपड़ा बनेगा, clothes बनेंगे. Cotton खरीदा था 10 रुपए में, क्लॉथ बेच देते हैं 100 रुपए में. दिस इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड कमर्शियलाइजेशन ऑफ क्रॉप्स. अब ऐसा हो गया था कि सेम ऑन शुगर ले जाते थे, शुगर केन, एक्चुअली शुगर केन, इंडिया से शुगर केन ले जाते थे, फिर वहाँ शुगर बनाते थे, एंड देन दे यूज्ड टू ब्रिंग बैक टू द शुगर टू इंडिया विच टैक्सेस. मतलब आपसे ही ले जाएंगे रॉ मटेरियल, उसको प्रोसेस करेंगे, फिर आपको उसको 10 गुना दाम में बेचेंगे, ऊपर से आप ही से टैक्स लेंगे, आप ही का प्रोडक्शन था. दिस वाज व्हाट हैपनिंग, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड कमर्शियलाइजेशन ऑफ क्रॉप्स. कि अब लोगों ने देखा कि हाँ कैश क्रॉप्स जिसको कहते हैं, कैश क्रॉप्स कहते हैं, मॉडर्न टर्मिनोलॉजी में इसको कैश क्रॉप्स कहते हैं. तो फार्मर्स का हालत ख़राब था, बिकॉज उनको तो पैसा देना था। तो फार्मर्स के पास एक ही ऑप्शन था कि हाँ ये कैश क्रॉप्स है, इसमें पैसा आता है, राइस एंड व्हीट से पैसा ज़्यादा है, मिलेट से ज़्यादा पैसा है। व्हाट दे स्टार्टेड डूइंग कि ये दाल चावल बनाना थोड़ा कम करे थे, हर एक ज़मीन में थोड़ा थोड़ा कैश क्रॉप्स उगाते हैं। एंड व्हाट दे स्टार्टेड डूइंग वाज कमर्शियल क्रॉप्स। कमर्शियल क्रॉप्स का प्रॉब्लम ये था कि वेन एवर देयर इज ए सिग्निफिकेंट अमाउंट ऑफ डिस्टर्बेंस इन इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड होता था। अब तब तो एंग्लो फ्रेंच ये वो लड़ाई झड़कर चलता ही रहता था। Whenever there is a war or battle going on, this cash crops prices used to fluctuate much. कि आज 10 रुपये मिल गया, आज 5 रुपये मिल जाएगा, परसों हो सकता 2 रुपये मिल जाए, कोई फिक्स नहीं था। लेकिन already these people got used to this cash crops, and this was one thing that was happening bad. Because of this, so what we have seen is that because of this land revenue system, they had certain effects on the Indian markets, on the Indian people, on the farmers and the peasants and the citizens and the subjects of British East India Company or British India then. And this had led to much of the grievances building among the Indians. किसको अच्छा लगता है इतना पैसा दे रहा है, everything पूरा everything that was happening, that was going on, the way the life used to be in medieval India have totally changed once the British arrived. And this is how the entire thing was shaping up. With this, we come to an end to the economic to the land revenue system of the Britishers. And next class we'll be dealing with First War of Independence. In this First War of Independence, 1857. So till then, have a good time, stay safe, stay indoors, and I'll come back soon with the other videos. Thank you.